Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sananto Suchedo Ye Alahadi San Miao San Puto Xie. Nam mô Tạc Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya Alahade Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Thoa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom and thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian wan jie nan zhao yu wo jin jian wen de shou ci 愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Qingliang, Great Master Xuanhua, all good monks and nuns, and all good known advisors, Amitofo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。 Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thái Lương Đại sư Thượng Thiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và các vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the last day of February 2025. Thank you for joining our discussion of the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. This Avatamsaka Sutra, that what we're doing is carry on this very important tradition in Mahayana that my late Chinese teacher started. He introduced the American residents here to the wonders of the Avatamsaka Sutra. And it's very fascinating. What it is about is the highest level of Buddhist wisdom there is in the Tripitaka. And of course, it's designed to help bodhisattvas or enlightened people reach higher level wisdom. Okay. And therefore, it's a little bit out of range for us, okay, but not necessarily, because just like everyone else, even though it's designed geared towards for bodhisattvas and mahasattvas, but this process is the same, meaning that by speaking the sutra, by learning the sutra, listening to this sutra, we don't probably understand as much as the Buddha's disciples, the bodhisattvas back then. We also are doing the same thing, planting the same Vajra seeds. And with these Vajra seeds, one day in the future, you will reach the same level of wisdom as these bodhisattvas, mahasattvas. This is why we're doing this. Okay? And so it's a wonderful opportunity, and every time I do this Avatamsaka Sutra, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to my late Chinese master, Great Master Xuanhua, for bringing this Dharma to the West. Until he came along, no Chinese master really wanted to touch this sutra because it's very, very difficult to explain. And even though it's difficult to explain, but what's interesting to happen is that while my master was still alive, a lot of his disciples also wanted to explain or talk about the sutra as well. And we're doing the same thing, and carrying on the same tradition. That is to give you a taste of this great Dharma. And my interest is to help you, because we've been training you for 2 decades now. And you have the wisdom. Many of you have the wisdom already, but you don't have the enough Dharma knowledge. And therefore, this is my emphasis is to first, of course, help you plant these Vajra seeds. These seeds will be there forever and ever until you use them, until they sprout. It doesn't matter who you are. If you go through the ears, ear organs, the seeds are planted. And that includes the kids, the dogs, all the invisible beings are gathered. They listen to this, the Dharma sound that we are reading for you in the sutra text here. They all plant these incredibly wonderful Vajra seeds in their eighth consciousness, which is the store of their treasures that they will carry with them lifetime after lifetime. So that's why it's a very, very big deal. And that's why more than you think, more often you think, a lot of beings, invisible beings, are here and they attend these sessions to learn and to plant Vajra seeds. Okay? And that's why it's a very, very big deal for us. And as a result also, his disciples also, as I said, lecture on this in their own ways. I'm doing it my way, okay, because my interest is to also expose you to the jargon. I'm not interested in the actual, like this prologue here is way too scholarly for me. I'm really not interested in scholarly information. That's for you in the future who have a preference for scholarly expression of Mahayana. By all means, go for it. But for me, my interest is very simple. I want to help you plant seeds, and I want to help you learn the jargon, and also, finally, I want to help you reach higher level enlightenment. Very simple. It's all about your increasing your wisdom. Wherever you are, this process is to help you unfold your higher level wisdoms. All right? So thank you all for giving me a chance to study this sutra with you. Because to be honest with you, when I prepare the sutras, I have a lot of help from masteryonghua, a lot of help from his disciples who did a wonderful job with the translation, and also a lot of help from my own disciples who helped prepare the materials and put on all these support structures so that we can share with more people. So that I'm very, very grateful. And also all of you for coming here to give me a chance to rise to the occasion. As you improve, I need to find a better way to teach you and help you reach even higher levels. Okay? It's funny, when I was at the other temples, like Blue Mountain Temple, and I said, I'm not going to touch the Avatamsaka Sutra until I have a real temple. Okay? And then Way Mountain Temple happened again, and finally we're able to get into the Avatamsaka Sutra, because the blessings matured, because you matured. You have the need to learn this wonderful, wonderful Dharma. Okay, it's Mahayana teaching is bits and pieces. It's not about you're not going to become enlightened overnight. So it's planting the seeds, and all of this will help you plant greater and even better and better seeds. But don't worry so much about the big picture. The big picture of Mahayana is so vast, so big that you learn bits and pieces, like I did. Eventually, over time, you see how the pieces fit together into this wonderful, wonderful puzzle, okay? And my puzzle is still pretty small, The section I can see is pretty small, but it is so fascinating how consistent and how beautiful the Buddhist teaching is. This is why the scholars really love it. They love to study. Okay, but we delve into a much deeper level. My interest is practical. It has to be useful to you. Okay, because time too short. You're gonna die soon. So will I. So let's make the best out of it. Okay. All right. So this prologue, again, some of you are new. So the prologue is about an overview written by great master Jing Liang, who is actually the Avatamsaka Mahasattva. So it's nice for us to have an overview of his wisdom, and it's not about. Don't worry too much about the continuity. We learn bits and pieces, and that's good enough. And one day, when the conditions mature and you have enough wisdom, believe it or not, all these things will come back, and you begin to be able to put the puzzles together, and you see that how beautiful they are. They fit together. Okay, and so, all right. So bits and pieces are good enough. Okay, it's plenty good. Okay. So prologue text door number 2. It talks about the stores or the baskets of the teachings and the teachings containing in it. And it's a long thing. This is like our 3rd or 4th year already. Somewhere in here, there's now into section number 3. There's so much of it. I didn't even bother going back, to see what was section 2 or 1. Okay. Because I do it and the next month I forget, so it doesn't matter. Okay, all right. Let's go into the text. 3 establishments of teachings and division into schools. This has 2 parts. 1 division into teachings based on doctrines, and 2 division into schools based on teachings.
第3，立教开宗分2：一以义分教，2依教分宗。
Okay, yes, YouTube has a question.
Thank you, Master. There's 3 big questions on YouTube from the same person. So I'll do my best to try to. Okay, it's from Robin Sandalwood, Amitabha Master. My background prior to Chan is from the Pureland sect. Nanfo, Buddha name recitation, is my foremost practice. I recite the 3 Pureland saints daily in my mind while I'm doing mundane tasks. I sometimes subconsciously repeat Amitabha mentally for hours. What should I do if I try to practice Chan, but I am constantly repeating Amitabha in my mind?
1 question. Okay.
That's the first one.
Okay. Keep it up. That Amitabha there, supposedly, in principle, in theory, has all the most profound Buddhist teachings. So every time you recite the Buddha's name, Amitabha, 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 something like that, then you are planting the seeds in your consciousness about this multitude Dharma doors. So eventually they will mature. Okay? But it's more than that. But for the Pure Land practitioners, that's plenty good for them. Next.
Next one is, Master, I watch your old Dharma talks sometimes. In a talk you gave 5 years ago called Infinite Buddhas, Infinite Living Beings, Dharma talk from September 15th, 2019. You said that once we attain rebirth in the Pure Land, Amitabha will streamline the pace we are enlightened, so we attain Buddhahood as swift as possible. I could not help but notice it's hard to say this word, Sitsigarba Bodhisattva Earth Store Suzang statue behind you and you the entire time. Shakyamuni Buddha says in the sutra that Earth Store Bodhisattva has been a bodhisattva for many, many aeons now. Is Earth Store Bodhisattva sort of an exception?
One more time. I didn't catch most of it. Louder.
Okay, let me try to paraphrase. They said in a Dharma talk from 2019, if we attain, you said that once we attain rebirth in the Pure Land, Amitabha will streamline the pace we are enlightened, so we can attain
what?
Buddhahood fast.
Amitabha Buddha will do what?
You said that we attain rebirth in the Pure Land fast as possible. And then behind you there was an Earth Store Bodhisattva statue. And then is the Earth Store Bodhisattva sort of an exception?
Is this question in English or in Chinese or what? There is no continuity. It jumps from one thing to the next and streamline. I don't know what streamline is. Streamline in business has different meaning and streamline in cultivation. So is this original in English? Because the use of the word streamline doesn't make sense. It makes sense to you, a Chinese person? Don't you love it when you see, I love when I see children. Yeah, because, this is the planet that's helping plant the seeds for them. Doesn't matter, okay. The ear organs, they may be but as long as the ear hears the sound, that's good enough. The seeds are there, same as ours. Okay, yeah. It's wonderful. Yeah. Yeah? So what is it? I don't get the second question at all. You don't make it clear for me, I will ignore you.
I'll read it again, Master.
Okay.
Master, I watch your old Dharma talks sometimes. In a talk you gave 5 years ago called Infinite Buddhas, Infinite Living Beings, Dharma Talk, you said that once we attain rebirth in the Pure Land, Amitabha will streamline the pace we are enlightened so we attain
Streamline
Buddhahood. What? Streamline the pace.
Streamline the pace. Is there such a thing as streamline the pace? I don't know what it means, streamline the pace. There's no such a thing in Buddhism. No such a thing in cultivation. There's no streamlining. But of course, Amitabha Buddha is much nicer, much more gentle than we are. Until you become Buddha, and then what?
So we attain Buddhahood as swift as possible. I could not help but notice the Ksitigarba Bodhisattva Earth Store statue behind you the entire time. Shakyamuni Buddha says in the sutra that Earth Store Bodhisattva has been a bodhisattva for many, many aeons now. Is Earth Store Bodhisattva sort of an exception?
Sort of an exception for what?
That he'll never become Buddha.
For what?
He took a vow to never become Buddha, so will he never become Buddha?
Is it your interpretation or the questioner's interpretation? I do not want your interpretation. I want you to read only the question. If the question is not clear, I will not answer. Okay? I don't need your interpretation. Okay, I don't understand the question. Question number 3. See, patience. You You have to be patient. I'm not patient.
Question number 3. My last question is about bodhisattvas themselves. Many bodhisattvas, like Guanqian, Usa, really attained Buddhahood long ago, but are manifesting as Buddhas. Can you please explain why the Buddha's role play in this way, so to speak? This is largely to set an example or precedent. Why do Buddhas manifest as bodhisattvas? To set an example and precedent?
No, it's for our sake. Sometimes you get along better with a bodhisattva than a Buddha. The Buddha are very scary. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen a Buddha yet. That's why I'm so relaxed and, so wishy-washy. But when I see the Buddha, I assure you, I'd be like, yes, sir. Okay? No smiling. So that's why the Buddhas, they would hide the great and manifest the small to make us relaxed and help make it easier to build affinities with us. So it's like a buddy system where it's a good cop and bad cop, that kind of thing. Buddhas are more stern, more adorned, that's served for a different purpose. And then the bodhisattvas who are more like us so that we can connect with them better. Thank you for the questions. Anyone else? Okay. Commentary slide 1281. Back to the text. It says, now the third part, establishments of the principal underlying teaching. This is a typo here, typical of the English people nowadays. It's not the principle, but it's PAL. It's such a common thing nowadays. Principle meaning main. Underlying teachings and divisions into schools based on adopting a set of teachings. And so now he's looking, Master Jingliang is looking into how, because the Buddha, when he spoke the Dharma, it's not easily understood. So that's why later he sent his disciples, the bodhisattvas, to come to our world and manifest as human beings, as patriarchs and so forth, to clarify the Buddha's teachings for us. So if you will, if you have great blessings, you'll be able to encounter the Buddha when he was alive. And when you could encounter the Buddha, you listen to the Buddha's teaching the Dharma, you become enlightened. Most of us will become enlightened. This is why Buddha would come to our world, to teach us, and his speaking Dharma is designed to help us become enlightened. The living beings there become enlightened. And now we are in a Dharma ending age where it's actually a lot more difficult for us to become enlightened. So that's why after the Buddha passed away, he sent his disciples to come to us in the forms of great Master Xunhua and manifest as a human being. And then he would speak Dharma for us and help us understand the Dharma better. And that's the nature of our lack of blessings. We can't understand the Dharma. That's why these patriarchs, these bodhisattvas, have to come and teach us. And before us, there are also bodhisattvas who categorize and classify the Buddhist teaching into schools, okay, and that's how they chose to train the people who have wisdom, who have blessings. This third section has two main parts. First, a division to teachings based on doctrines. Okay, so Buddha's, when he spoke the Dharma, now these patriarchs, these great sages, would help us zoom in onto the doctrines behind the Buddha's teaching. See, Buddha's, when he spoke Dharma, he spoke like he speaks in profusely. But the patriarchs who came after him would then take all the Buddhist teachings and classify them, simplify them, so that into schools, into doctrines, and make it easier, more digestible for us. Okay? And then from the doctrines, we can set up schools. Okay? So that's what happened to all the Buddhist teachings in India, in China. Yes, YouTube question.
Thank you, Master. JB asked, how can a person recover from falling into despair when their training in compassion has failed them?
I don't know. Depends. It's like, I'm hungry. What do I eat? I'm sick. Which medicine should I take? That's too general for me. I don't know how to answer that. Okay? I'm sorry, it should be more specific.
Thank you, Master. And then there was a clarification by Robin Sandalwood for the second question. We become Buddhas quickly in the Pure Land. Amitofo streamlines the process. But what about bodhisattvas like Earth Store? This does not seem to be true all the time.
Amitabha Buddha does not streamline the process. It's not what the Buddha does. Don't put words in his mouth. Interpreting too much. Buddha says, I will take care of you. Like a father says, I brought you into my world. I will help you until you can take care of yourself. There's nothing streamlining. And also Bodhisattva, I don't understand the question about Bodhisattva. What is it you read about all these things and you come up with all these concepts that is really wacko? There's no such a thing. In a Pure Land teaching where Amitabha Buddha says, I will streamline, make it faster for you. That's your interpretation. There's no such a thing in the Pure Land teachings that I know of. Stop interpreting. Should memorize the text. And then, instead of reading all kind of junk you have out there, you should only listen to or study the patriarchs or the sages' teachings. That way, your head will not be filled with junk and garbage. It's a waste of your time. Okay, 1282. The name Sino-American Buddhist Association, he says, like here, I have a Sino-American Buddhist, it's based on the teachings, okay? And then from the teaching, we do establish a branch called association and so forth. And so basically, the sages classify all the Buddhist teachings into doctrines, okay? And then from the doctrines, each patriarch, each Mahasattva would then choose to form a school based on those subset of teachings, to subset of doctrines to help their disciples become enlightened faster. All right? Next, 1283. Now the first division into teachings based on doctrines. Of kinds of teachings, there are 5, just as established by Xian Shou. For elaboration, there is a separate treatise. On the whole, they are identical with Tian Tai, only adding a certain teaching.
经书以义分教，教类有五，即显首所立，广有别章，大同天台，但加顿教。
Okay, now we go into a section where I like you to be exposed to the jargon, because this is very important. Okay, so that's why you don't necessarily need to have this, but as I said, the last 20 years, I never stressed that much about the jargon and the theory, because I was more concerned about developing your concentration power or samadhi level. Okay, that's an expedient where they help you get up there very fast, because what happened is that if you know too much of a theory, then you tend to get stuck, confused by a theory. So our process, unlike Master Shinhua, is that we want to develop your samadhi level first, very quickly, and then give you a chance to expand your knowledge. Okay, it's like we built a high-speed elevator for you to go up very fast. Okay, and so we need to make a lot of sacrifices. Okay, meaning that you can go very fast, but you have no idea what's going on in floor number 3, the French restaurant floor number 3. You never set foot on it. Okay, and we go all the way up to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and you never stop by that French restaurant. Isn't that terrible? But if you stop by the French restaurant on the 2nd floor of the Eiffel Tower, I'm told, I haven't been there yet. I just read a lot, okay. Then, aren't you wasting time? Because if your objective is go up to the top of the Eiffel Tower, you don't want to be distracted by this restaurant, by the views, you see? So that's the analogy. I wanted you to go up very fast, okay? And it's very, very, very useful to you, okay? And then now we are at the phase where many of you will become teachers yourselves. So now I need to help you get more of the jargon and be exposed to, hey, she's acting up now. It's funny, these ghosts, they cannot help themselves. After a while, you see how easy it is to deal with these stupid ghosts. They have the same pattern. They don't listen to reason, especially the manic ghosts who are harassing you. They don't listen to reason. You beat them up, they're scared, and they stop. The next time around, again, they ask to be punished again. That's how stupid they are. So that's how it is. That's life. All right. So we at the point where I want you to prepare to learn how to lecture within 10 years or so. I hope that some of you will start lecturing sutras and so forth. Okay? Okay, now, these are fundamental schools, important schools you should be exposed to. Okay, first of all, Xian Shou is Hieng Tu in Vietnamese. I don't know what it is in Korean. But Great Master Xian Shou was a patriarch, was a great monk, and he's the one who set up a school to study the Avatamsaka Sutra. So that's why his name is something you want to remember, all right? And then, of course, we talked about Tian Tai, which is another school in China. It's a Xian Shou school. And then another school is another master is Master Zhuge. It's from Tian Tai school. So those are the big names. this is a reference for you, because in the future, when you when you want to study the Buddha Dharma, you want to study from these sages, the people who understand. Okay, so our teachings are based. My lectures are based on studying the teachings from these great masters like Master Xuanhua, Master Qing Liang, and so forth. Yes, you too.
Oh, sorry, this is my question. I've been Master. I've been working on the Great Compassion Mantra, and been repenting for being stupid and for like trying to repent to a creditor. Is this okay, or is there a certain way to do the Great Compassion Mantra?
Yeah, there's a way. Just recite it. One character after another, without any thought in between. That's how you recite it.
So just do the best to recite without thinking about anything. Just recite.
Yeah, just recite one character after another. And the false thoughts will arise, ignore them. That's all. It's very simple, but you do only one thing. You focus and concentrate. You concentrate on reciting Namo Hela Dana Dola Ye Ye. You concentrate on that. That's all. Single-mindedly. One character after another, after another. And you'll be amazed. When I was a novice and I was sent to Canada, and I met one of the Buddhist disciples there, the third generation, Qin generation, and she's followed the Japanese Buddhist tradition, Zen tradition. Like she was married to a Japanese guy, Japan man, and was in Japan for some time and so forth. And they got divorced and moved back to Canada. And she came to the temple to learn about chant. And I was a novice teaching chant, believe it or not. This is so embarrassing, you know. We have a Wei Yang chant lineage, and you let a novice teach chant who never been trained in Wei Yang at all, who did not even understand meditation. Okay, I hope it will never happen in our temple. I should tell you, if you novice is teaching, you say, I'm just a novice, I really don't understand that much, okay? But I'm repeating my teacher's teachings, okay? Not my own teachings, okay? Because I have no teaching. But anyway, I was free to do whatever I wanted. See, for us, American standards, to me, is unacceptable, okay? But anyway, so he's teaching her, and it's about the Great Compassion Mantra, because our Dharma is based on Wanyin Bodhisattva's Dharma doors, and so we taught her the Great Compassion Mantra, and so it's very simple. She said, okay, so I memorized this mantra like I'm supposed to, and then she started reciting, and she recited for about a month or two, and then one day she said, you know what? Every time I recite the Great Compassion Mantra, after 2 months of practice with us, only taught by a novice guy, she was able to see the characters, okay, when she recited. Well, cool. Just concentrate, man. If she can do it, so can you. Even a man can do it. Okay. Remember Xian Shou, okay? And 5 schools and so forth, different things. And the Xian Shou is similar to Tian Tai school, except for they add something, a certain teaching. So this is important concept I want you to be exposed to, so that you have reference points. When people speak the Dharma, you have to know what kind of Dharma that are being taught. Is this the BS, so they learn from themselves and talk about love and life and success, you know, and marriage and so forth, or they actually speaking Dharma from the Buddha or from the patriarchs? That's very important. And this is what is not stressed enough, I feel, in the Buddhism now, anymore, because the Dharma masters now don't spend enough time learning sutras, learning concepts in particular, without developing their samadhi power. They cannot understand the sutras. They cannot understand these teachings. Okay, so the training is really, really of the sangha is getting worse and worse, and that's typical of the Dharma ending age, where monks and nuns don't understand the sutras anymore, and that's true destruction of Buddhism. If you think that you're worried about the environment, I'm worried about the Buddhist environment. It is scary to me that monks and nuns are too worried about building temples and building a fame and reputation instead of building the wisdom. Yes, YouTube. Now, tonight has a lot of YouTube questions.
Question from JB. Should lay practitioners take any of the 13 aesthetic practices to help make Dharma more obvious? Example, rag wearing, 3 robes, etc.
Yeah, you could do that. But with my limited experience, I never practiced all the 12 ascetic practices, 13 ascetic practices. You can hear when people mention 13 ascetic practices, that's Hinayana. 12 is Mahayana. Okay, so it tells you where the information came from. And what's the difference? It's not the number, it's the depth of the teaching. Okay? And the effectiveness of the actual practice. Okay? And so, yeah, you could do the ascetic practices, but that's just knowledge. Question is are you willing to do it? How many people are willing to do it? And in particular, with masteryonghua coming to America, he never really emphasized practicing all the 12 ascetic practices. Why not? Because it's no longer effective. Okay, so he only gave us a limited number of ascetic practices like sleeping, eating 1 meal a day. On the other hand, for example, he would not go begging based on the Chinese Chan tradition. We don't do begging anymore. We cook for ourselves because those are experiences that are more appropriate. They're better for our eras. Okay. Yeah, but that's the concept behind it. And so we don't necessarily need to do all 12, but we just do enough under the guidance of a good known advisor, and you still can become enlightened. Okay. As a matter of fact, just for your reference, masteryonghua only taught a handful of ascetic practices, not all 12, and his disciples became enlightened, and then they reach higher levels than those who practice all 13 ascetic practices. See? So look at the big picture. Don't get lost in words. That's why I call it American, way young American Buddhism, because I want to see results. Okay, if we do this, I want to see how it benefits you. You practice meditation, I want to see you developing samadhi and so forth. You want concrete results, not just talk and promises. Okay, important concepts for you. Tiantai school, very important school, because that's the school where the scholars nowadays who want to study Buddhism would use as a framework for explaining sutras. or in the Tiantai school, they divide the Buddhist 50 years of career of teaching into 4 periods, 4 types of teachings. Number 1 is stores, number 2 is connective, number 3 is separate, number 4, perfect teachings. Let me go through them very quickly for you because many of you are new to this concept. Stores, it's the teaching for the Hinayana, where you become either, the goal there is to help you become 4th stage Arhat or Pratyeka Buddha. Okay, and so during this period, the Buddha taught and helped a lot of his disciples become what we call the sound hearers. They heard the Buddha's sermons, okay, and they became enlightened. They certified to Arhatship or Pratyeka Buddhahood. So that's a stores teaching. And then, and this again, this is the advantage of learning directly from the Buddha. If the Buddha spoke Dharma back then, they became enlightened, just like that. Okay, like I've been speaking Dharma for 20 years now. Very few people became enlightened. Maybe 0, more accurately speaking. Okay, and so the store teaching. Next is that once you get to the level, okay, now you want to stop, that's fine. But you're much better off continuing. So the Buddha said, now I will teach you connective teaching, which he says it's not no longer Hinayana, but I'm preparing you to go to the Bodhisattva range, okay? And that takes preparation. Okay, because what you learn here, what's the problem with stores teaching or Hinayana teaching is too much based on your intelligence, your smarts, your thinking mind. Okay? You depend. You get there by using a thinking mind. Okay? And once you get there, okay, you have to let go of what you achieved and you let go of the dependence, your dependency on the thinking mind. Because what I mean by thinking mind is for you, with these people in the stores teaching here, that range, what is their weakness? They have wisdom, but it's limited wisdom. Why is it limited? It's limited because it has to make sense to them. If it doesn't make sense to them, they say, get out, I don't want you. And Mahayana is so profound that you can no longer, for you to penetrate it, you can no longer depend on your thinking mind. And that's why I try to tell my disciples, when they haven't paid attention yet, it does not have to make sense to you. That's how you break through. So that's why it takes preparation. The connective teaching here, it says, Hinayana, impressive, but there's much better here. And this is the bridge. If you prepare to go, let me be. If you want to go, I prepare you. So far, so good. That's the nature of connective teaching, which begins to tell you it's much bigger things, much more interesting things are waiting for you, okay? And you deserve it. Don't settle for anything less, okay? And in order to get there, can I talk to you into holding your judgment for a while until you see a bigger picture? Okay, that's connective teaching. Third teaching is separate teaching is for enlightenment, big enlightenment, meaning that you become a bodhisattva. Okay, so you now walk into a world called wonderful world. And then you look back and say, wow, I'm glad I chose to come here to the Bahamas. Okay? Because this place is wonderful. It is. I never realized that life could be so wonderful. Okay, and that's separate teaching. Okay, it is because it's for that to happen, for you to experience this enlightenment. Okay, you have to be taught separately. What does it mean separately? Away from your wife. Because your wife distracts you. No? My husband too. Okay? Yeah. And so that's why separate, because the Buddha says, for you to get here, I need to pay attention. We need to give you special attention and push you along separately. Okay? Meaning that we pay attention to each and every one of you separately. That's what it takes. Okay? Finally, the fourth one is perfect teaching. 4 separate teachings, you become a bodhisattva, you become enlightened. It's so wonderful. You begin to put a smile on your face, and I like this. Okay? Okay? And what happens is, but you're still a bodhisattva. The perfect teaching is that it says that all of you can become Buddhas. Don't settle for less. And you know the fact is that there's so many things that help you plant the seeds to become a Buddha yourself already. You walk into the temple, you say, hey, hi, Buddha. You become a Buddha in the future. Or you look at a Buddha and say, how do you do? And you will become a Buddha. Because the fact that you recognize, do those things, create wonderful blessings for you. So can you imagine that you sit down and listen to sutras and meditate? The seeds are incredible. Even your children listening to this Dharma talk here, the sound here, and half a ear, maybe a third of a ear, even less than that, the seeds there will help them become Buddhas even faster. All right? That's perfect teaching. It says, this is what it's about. Buddhism is about you becoming Buddha. Okay? All of you can become Buddhas. And Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are dedicated to make sure that happens to each and every one of you, of us. Usually down south we have applause, but here it's okay. Look here, you're sophisticated. You're not impressed with sales pitches. Okay, so I understand. Okay, yes, sir. Yes, one.
Amitabha Master. So these 4 kind of teachings, they depend on the audience. That's how they are classified.
The stores what?
Yeah. So the 4 kind of teachings. So one is for arhats, the other one is for bodhisattvas. So the Buddha uses one of them depending on the audience.
Yeah, depending on your interest, depending on the conditions. For example, it's a very good question. When the Buddha started teaching, he was a newcomer, and people in India were following Hinduism, various teachers, many teachers. And so the Buddha says, I will have something better than this. It's called the Agama teachings, or the incomparable teaching. Incomparable meaning that it will surpass by far all the existing teachings back then. That's why it's called incomparable. That's the store's teaching. Okay, and if you do this, you see for yourself, you get great benefits. And this is always the emphasis in Buddhism since the Buddha started it. You learn Buddhism, you learn the concepts, you learn meditation, you learn mantras. It will bring you tremendous benefits, a lot more than we can have time to tell you. And so the mere fact that the Buddha gave the Indians a tiny, tiny piece of Mahayana, about fingernails worth. Bad girl. She knows what I'm talking about right away. You're supposed to pretend. What? You know, they have these long fingernails when they pick up the white powder. And she got it right away, this naughty girl. Anyway, got you. Anyway, so how did I get here? Yes, YouTube.
Okay. Master, this is from Robin Sandalwood. Master, I would like to apologize to the Sangha. My intention was not at all to slander the triple gem. I am grateful for your correction and insights. I will try my best to do better.
And I apologize to all of you. I have a temper. I'm impatient. Okay, hurry up. I need to go to the Bahamas. Okay, so the Buddha says, so it has tremendous benefits for you, physically, mentally, intellectually, emotionally, the whole ball of wax. Buddhism is to improve your life, all aspects of life. Okay, and so what happened is the Buddha said, you follow all these, you compare to all the existing teachings there in India at the time. This is by far much better. You get far greater benefits. And I know that you're skeptical because I'm unproven. Okay, Buddha says, I'm taller than you. My skin's whiter than you, so I don't look like you. Did you know that? Buddha is much taller. He's very tall dude. Okay? And the skin is not as dark. Just don't go there. You don't tempt me. Okay? So Buddha taught the Store's teaching, the Agama teaching, Agama Sutras, and he says, I know you don't believe me, but tell you what, if it makes sense to you, follow up, continue. Doesn't make sense to you, get out. That's what I meant by the premise of Agama is that it appeals to your intellect and your logical mind. And that's what he had to do initially, to convince the people who are stuck on Hinduism and Taoism, not Taoism, but the various sex teachings. He says, this will make more sense than the other teachings. Why? Because in the other teachings, when they had a problem, the teachers the solutions did not make sense. Whereas the Buddhist solutions in the Store teachings are very logical. That's why it appeals to your intellect. It works. Okay. And after that, when you skip the connective, you see the separate teaching is that you basically have to drop your thinking mind completely. Okay? Not just your thinking mind, but now you have to go into something called faith. Because you cannot understand. Because the real masters are not salesmen like me. I am too excited when I speak Dharma. It's not appropriate. Okay? The real masters like Master Hsuan Hua, very adorned. Okay? And you bring your eyes to admiration, something lofty, okay? Because it's lofty. I'm just poor, not lofty. Okay? And so separate teaching is that you get there by faith. You know that? And faith, you have faith because? How do you have faith? Faith is, number one, is demonstrated results from store, connective. When you practice, you improve, you get better. You're smarter, by the way, okay? You're in the store teaching. When they practice it, they became smarter. Their mind was faster. It's real to them. They can solve problems better. Some of them even can program better. Not true? Huh? All right? And the mind is much faster than before. Not true? Yeah, of course. And so you have faith because, number one, there's a track record. Okay? So from store to connective, as you're willing to compromise it, it doesn't have to make sense to me for now. I don't understand this, but let me shelve it. I'm not going to throw it away. Because in store teaching, it doesn't make sense to you, throw it away. Connective is that, hold your horses. Just let it soak in, okay? And when you do that, then you get a chance to go to separate where you actually, because as with time, you see results. And that's why the faith builds. And number two, in separate teaching, we teach you more about how to create more blessings, which will increase your faith. You have faith because you have blessings. You don't have enough faith, it's because you don't have enough blessings. This is a fact of life, that nothing can alter, that Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can do nothing about it. Okay? That's separate teaching. Okay? And so you build your faith, and that's how you open your biggest wisdom that you have. Okay? Perfect teaching is that, I said, you now Bodhisattva, but you should become Buddha, which is the perfection of your wisdom. Your wisdom at its peak, which is the same as the Buddha's. Yes, Wei Mountain.
Amitabha Master. I had a question about, I have requested that the Sangha help me with certain problems. And in other religions, and another thing that we do is at the end of our practice, we dedicate our merit and virtue to all living beings. But in other religions, we have other peers pray for our problems as well. In Buddhism, is it okay to ask another Dharma member to make a request on our behalf for our problems?
You lost me somewhere 3 sentences ago.
3 sentences ago? Cool. All right. Is it okay for me to ask... Oh, sorry, one second. Is it okay for me to ask... for me to ask another Dharma member to...
You're laughing at him, but before he would come in and he would make noises like that constantly. Now look at him. He's smiling, more handsome than before.
Oh, thank you.
You lost some weight too. Haven't you?
But no.
No, you haven't? Lose something.
Not Okay, I will. Yeah, thank you.
Just kidding.
So everybody, can you please request to the Buddha that I lose some weight?
Some things
Is
are
that
not
okay?
possible.
Or is it not okay?
Yeah, why do you talk like a lawyer? I mean, you just talk around and round and round, not saying anything specifics. Oh my God. Repeat your question, please.
Is it okay to request other people who go to the temple that they request the Buddhas or Bodhisattvas on our behalf to help with our problems, like my
Why?
problem?
Why do you want to make your problem other people's problems?
Well, that's what other religions do. We request the Sangha to help to make our problems their problem. And that's a form of like their giving, I think.
Then go
And
there and
so-
get the Sangha to help you. What are you doing here? Oh my God. Do we look like them?
What?
We don't work like that.
Okay.
The objective, okay, let me tell you, I'm glad you asked, and I'm sorry if I beat around the bush. Our style of cultivation is slightly different, okay? Unlike Master Shenhua, who, if you come to him and says, I have this problem, will you fix it? Yeah, I fix it, go away, I fix it for you already, okay? And I have a hard time with that because then you come back, go back, and now you're healthier, you only create more karmas. To me, it's a band-aid to increase your faith in me, but it doesn't do much for you. I'm benefiting my reputation more than really helping you. That's my attitude. So I said, that's enough people who are doing that, okay? I want you to learn to fix your problems. And that's called wisdom. If you can learn to fix one problem, okay, because your wisdom increases, okay, then when you look at other problems, you can solve them better as well. So all around, we shoot for training you to improve so that you can help yourself and not be so hugging people's legs asking for help. Buddha, Buddha, help me. Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva, help me. To me, it's ugly. Okay? We don't want you to be dependent on getting help constantly. And that's, to me, it's less attractive to your wife. She looks at you and says, so as soon as you have a problem and you can't fix, you make an excuse and say, honey, I'll be right back. You ran to the temple and asked for help, asked for others to help fix it for you. So this is the kind of man I'm married? Are you a man? Are you a big boy? So I'd rather put up with your idiosyncrasies for years, as long as you are progressing, and one day you stop making those weird noises for a while, but you're able to help yourself, and you feel better about yourself, instead of feeling better about me helping you. So what do you want? You want to feel good about yourself, and then your wife feel better about you? Or you want only to feel good about me and say, if I have a problem, go to masteryonghua, he'll fix it for me. And you become a leech. Big leech. What do you want?
Big leech, no problems.
Big leech and no problem?
Yeah, it sounds like a good deal to me. But I hear what you're saying. I know I gotta.
It takes patience. It takes time to learn. Okay? Yeah. And that way, I have more time. At least I have a chance to go to the Bahamas eventually. Okay? If more you become more independent and self-sufficient, now I can, just like a Vietnam person, I would start asking you to give me, part of your salary every month, and then I can retire, like a Vietnam papa. Okay, so anyway, going back to the question, first the store teaching is appeals to your intellect, because that's all they had to depend on that, do the comparison, okay? But then he enticed them and said, this much better than this, okay? If you can simply trust me a little bit more, and don't be so, so demanding, so logical, okay? And then you eventually get to the advanced teachings of the separate teaching, which you will get far, far faster and greater benefits. Because to get to enlightenment, you need to have a lot of blessings. Separate teaching will help you build blessings. How do you say it? A Chinese expression, Madre Mia. Oh my God, so many teachings. Yeah. So many blessings, okay? So that's the third teaching, separate teaching. And finally, he says, I want you to know, I'm being very patient. I've been teaching you stores, I've been teaching you connective, I've been teaching you separate, but what I really want you to know, that you believe in yourself, that you will become a Buddha just like me. Okay? So he sets the goal even a little bit higher. You should be Buddha. And since from the results they got, the experience they got from separate teaching, the Bodhisattva said, of course. What I've got so far is so wonderful, but what he's telling me is that it's even far better than that. And that's perfection of wisdom, of a wonderful life. And that's, you all are worthy of it, and you all will reach it. The only question is, how soon? That's all. Okay? And when you have this big picture, you become more relaxed. You don't worry so much about little loss here and there, little gain here and there. They come and go. Relax, kid. Okay? It's not the end of the world. Okay, next, 1286. Now, at first, this will use them, and afterwards combine and make connection. If there are unsatisfactory places, it's hoped that they will be corrected.
今先用之，后总会通。有不安者，愿为一改。
And 1287 commentary slide, it says, yeah, we'll give you some exposure here, and later, there's more things going on, but he says, don't try to change too soon. Don't try to change this knowledge before you're ready, because this is a very humble and elegant way for the sages to say, they owe us a warning, okay, but they can't spell it out for us. Year 6.
So I'm wondering, for the previous slide, it mentioned that the sudden teaching was added to the 4 different schools. I'm just a little curious how it was added.
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. And that's why I'm trying to rush through this. Because I know that some of you will not come back ever again, so I'm trying to maximize it as much as I can. Okay? And so, but Master Shinhua is from a different perspective. He says, be humble. This master here, great Master Qingliang, is very wise, has tremendous wisdom. Don't try to change. So his Master Shinhua's recommendation is that he's even more, bigger than me, and therefore even I will not try to change anything. Okay, and that's the attitude. Okay, that's the next section. We have 5 minutes. 12:90. The 5 teachings are: 1, the small vehicle teaching; 2, the initial teaching of a great vehicle; 3, the final teaching; 4, the certain teaching; and 5, the perfect teaching.
言五教者：1、小乘教；2、大乘实教；3、中教；4、顿教；5、圆教。
Okay, so you see, so the Xianqiu is very similar to the Tiantai school classification or doctrine, except it's inserted a certain teaching. That's the point. Okay? And so this is very comforting for us to know that the Tiantai school classification of the Buddhist doctrines is very, very solid. Okay? And for us, it's extremely useful. And Xianqiu, great Master Xianqiu says it's great the way that the Tiantai school categorize the Buddhist teachings, but actually, if you want to understand the Avatamsaka Dharma, you need to understand more about a certain teaching aspect of it. Okay? So that's why he says, I will classify them in 5 types of teachings. Okay? Okay, it might take a few more minutes beyond finish time, okay? Because I want to finish this, because I know you're not coming back. I'm not coming back next week. Okay? So, first of all, the one is small vehicle teaching, which is the same as Tiantai school, the store teaching, Agama school, where they teach you how to become an arhat. You see that? So, these 2 great sages see how the first block is the same. It's very important part of the Buddhist training. Okay, it's not just names, but I want you to understand how the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas understand how to help us build our wisdom. They have to teach us certain things. Okay? And when appropriate, will let us find our ways, but they actually have this big picture on how to help us unfold our wisdom. Okay? I'm not taking the question. I'm trying to finish. Okay? And please hold those questions till next time. Well, I'll be down south. That's why I'm not going to see you. You see, I gave my own prophecy. I'm not seeing you anymore for 2 more weeks. Okay, so the small teaching, okay, and that's the same as Tiantai school. And then next group is initial teaching, which refers to the beginning of the great vehicle teaching. Okay? And then the third one, I'm so excited about this because I read this a long time ago, and I couldn't understand it. I said, Xian Shou, it says, small teaching and then initial teaching, why is it not small? Okay, so you are so blessed that I'm giving you the terminology, but also reference points for you. Okay, so that you can understand how the structure of Buddhist teaching is. Okay, the doctrines, they're categorized. Initial teaching is about, you see the emphasis. First is small vehicle teaching, and then the rest is big vehicle teaching. That's what it takes to train people. Same thing with helping your children. You need to help them develop the logic first, okay? Help them, and then tell them what? This big vehicle, meaning that you can do much bigger things than this, because you're capable of. Okay? And then third teaching is the final teaching. Okay? And then so it's just the beginning, and then the final teaching, and then in between there's a fourth one. Before that and the final teaching is that the end teaching, the perfect teaching is that a certain teaching. That is, if you look at the scholarly approach or the knowledge acquisition is usually gradual, step by step. Certain teaching says, in Buddhism, there's something that we train you and teach you that will help you attain certain breakthroughs. You don't have to go step by step. And there is a technology behind it, which is far better than AI. And that AI will never be able to do, by the way. You can go as far as you go, but you can never do certain teaching in AI. Okay? It takes tremendous wisdom to be able to do that. Yeah. All right? And that unless you become a bodhisattva and then you program AI, then I believe you. But you know a bodhisattva, I don't believe you can program the bodhisattva wisdom into it. Make sense? All the Waymo programs are written by what? A programmer who works day and night, and at midnight he becomes hungry, so he calls delivery for cookies. What's wisdom in there? So if you have no wisdom, how can you possibly program wisdom into a car? But no, industry is spending $1 trillion developing self-driving cars. And my favorite man, Elon, is at the forefront. Isn't that amazing? If they just have consulted with a Buddhist monk, they would have saved the world economy $1 trillion. It's going down the drain right now. Anyway, and that's called certain teaching. Isn't it exciting? In Buddhism, there's such a thing where you are capable of this lightning fast opening of your wisdom. If you just give yourself a chance instead of rejecting it. Okay? That's all I want to do today. I took 2 more minutes out of your time, but mea culpa. But thank you. That's all I'm interested in telling you. And the rest, of course, if you're interested, is a perfect teaching. Same as the entire school. And then next time we skip it. It's not done yet. Okay, never mind. We'll come back to 1293 next time. Thank you, everyone. with all